I was thinking today, I was like, I need to call Nicole because we haven't talked in like
I know.
weeks at this point. And then I was like, you know what we should do? We should just make it a podcast and we should just do like a New Year,
Top of the
happy
year.
holidays, top of the year. How are we doing? How was the holidays? If anyone like hasn't listened to our podcast before or started midway through, maybe doesn't really know us, like it could be a good get to know us podcast too. But also
If
it's
you
just
were
like,
not one of those like crazy people who, not crazy in a bad way, but like you didn't start from episode 1 and listen to all 100 episodes, even though you just started listening,
this is for
could
you.
be a good, yeah.
Yeah, because I saw you for your birthday and then left, and then it
hmm
was literally Christmas, and then it was New Year's, and now it's now, and like we haven't really talked since.
I know.
And I always feel like that happens, especially when you go home to Chicago, because like you have places to go, people to see when you go home.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, I'll talk to Nicole when she's back. Like communication is at an all-time low as soon as Nicole hops off the plane
I touched
in
down in
Chicago.
Chicago and like, don't call me, don't text me. I'm
Like,
busy.
don't call me, don't come to my house.
It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah. No, let's
I
definitely
mean, you
catch
don't
up.
live there anymore, but you grew up there and you have so many people that want to see you and spend time with you. Like, it's got to be so hard. I would not know because I've always lived so close to where I'm from.
I'll tell you this. This year I was amazing in not overcommitting myself.
Incredible.
And I
Well, that's
like didn't
crazy
really
because every single time that I checked your location to be like, I wonder what Nicole's up to today because I'm not texting her. You were out and about. Like, I literally did not see your little guy at your house once.
well,
So
the
it's
thing
crazy.
is that I did a lot of things with my mom. So
Mm.
like I didn't really tell too many people that I was home. So like I saw the immediate friends who I
The
wanted to
usual
see. The
suspects.
usual suspects, exactly. And then my mom and I went to the movies a lot while I was home. We saw
Oh,
Wonka, we saw Iron Claw. It was really fun. And so I feel like I was just kind of doing things with my family this time around and
cute.
like not so much trying to schedule 9 million different friend activities, which was
Yeah.
nice.
I feel like it's good too because I also feel like we both collectively did a really good job in 2023 of like seeing our friends.
Yeah.
I mean, it was helpful for me because I got married, so I like had different occasions where I was like,
Also helpful for me because all of my friends are your friends as well.
yeah.
So,
I like it was really helpful because I had like several occasions where I was like guaranteed to see friends, especially like, the
mhm.
friends that I don't see all the time. Like my friends from college that I don't really get to see a ton and like I saw some of them at my bachelorette party or my bridal shower or at the wedding, and it was, like, so nice to be, like, have that
Yeah.
time, but
Yeah.
I feel like that probably helped you going home too because some of your friends like, a lot of I feel like a lot of your friends have visited you in New York this year or
Mhm.
you've seen them at my wedding stuff, so it
Right.
was easier to be not be like, "I haven't seen you since last year, we have to do things."
Right. Yeah, it was nice. I mean, because I got home on Monday the 18th, and then it was my birthday on Thursday, and
Mhm.
so I worked Tuesday and Wednesday from home, and then took Thursday, Friday off, and then had off between Christmas and New Year, so it was nice. So I
Nice.
was, like, off for a full 2 weeks. Um,
Incredible.
yeah, it's hard to come back to work, let me tell you. I know
I
you
can
don't
only
have that problem.
imagine. I can't couldn't be me, but I can totally imagine how hard that must have been for you. Meanwhile, I did not have off between Christmas and New Year's because I was working like a dog day and night to pack up my house.
I was gonna say to move, give me a
Yeah.
break. And who
It was
put it
hard
off?
work.
Did you
I
put it
didn't.
off?
No.
Mm.
We've been working for what? When was I supposed to do this? When we were in Vegas? When I was getting married? When I was getting married? When I was in Vegas? When I got home and got laid off and was just like depressed for a week?
Well,
And then when I went to New York for
you could have been unhealthy and pushed those feelings aside
I
and
could
not thought
have.
about them and
You're
instead
so right.
packed your house up.
You're so right. I should have been a little more mentally unwell. You're so right for that.
Just saying, do the Nicole method and
Next
just
time.
push it down and don't think about it.
Next time, I'll be sure to be a little more mentally ill.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, so it was nice to just kind of I went out to dinner with my family on my birthday, and then Friday,
Cute.
my friends and I went to the Blackhawks game. Our friend Daniela, who you know, obviously,
Obviously.
her dad has season tickets to the Hawks, and he graciously gifted us tickets to that game. So it was really fun, and they have tickets like 2
Oh,
rows
I
off
thought
of
they
the
were
glass.
Tories for some reason.
Mm-mm.
I just assumed because
She's always
Tori's
at
the puck
Hawks games,
slut.
yeah. Richard gifted us those tickets, which was really fun. And it was really nice to just like see everyone and hang out. Big sports week for me.
Love that.
Because then my family and I, we have Bears season tickets. And so we went to the Bears game on Christmas Eve. My
So
dad, my
fun.
brother, my sister, and I, and we do that every year that they play. So,
No Pam?
no, we only have 4 tickets, and
Ah,
we're like, Mom, like we can ask like our seatmates like if they're coming, we can get you tickets. She's like, no, I don't really want to go. They suck. And we're like, all right, fair enough.
I love Pam.
So so she stayed home, let the dog out, and then met us downtown
Damn,
at
who lets the
my
dogs
aunt's
out?
house.
Who let
So
the dogs out? Pam.
yeah, it was and then I literally didn't do anything, and it was so nice.
I
My
love
mom and I
that.
like my siblings were home for a little bit. We played video games. We just hung out. We watched movies. It was a very, very disconnected
I love
week
that.
for me.
I love
Yeah.
that a lot. That's so fun. How lovely.
How was your unemployment time? Your first kind of week of unemployment?
Yeah, so unemployment has been a
Yeah, for
little
those of you who
hectic. Oh yeah, didn't
maybe
know.
missed that announcement.
I got laid off. So I'm
As is
currently,
tradition
as
in
is
the Two Girls
tradition,
One Formula
someone has to get laid
ecosystem.
off once a year at least. So I am currently a full-time TG1F employee and making it my mission to make this a real thing this year so that I do not have to go back into corporate America because I physically can't do it, don't want to.
Kicking, like dragging me, kicking and screaming.
Like, I already didn't wanna have my job before I lost it, and so, like, losing my job was actually pretty nice. I was like, "Thank God." I didn't want to do this anymore anyways.
You made the
So,
decision for me. Thank
yeah, I'm like,
you.
"Thank you," and now I can collect unemployment, so thank God.
Which is
Work.
congratulations to your first
My first
unemployment.
layoff.
Your first season
Thanks.
of unemployment.
Thank you so much. I'd like to thank, my bad decision-making skills when it comes to companies that I work for. I would love to
You were there
thank
for like 2
I
years,
know. I would
no?
love to thank the downturn in the market and, the fact that consumer packaged goods are just not really selling right now, so and most of all, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, God bless America.
God and
Um,
Jesus. Thank you.
not only God, but
God,
also
but also
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah, so I mean, my last day of work was I was in New York with you, so
Mhm.
incredible time to finish my job. Didn't really have anything to do, and then got to spend really my first actual, like, unemployment days with you, which is a treat.
A
Um,
treat. I mean, I did the same thing
I
in
know, we're
May.
always together when we get laid off. How fun.
The
Except for
universe is like, "How many times do I have to show you guys that you are meant
you
to work
shouldn't be
together? Like, you
working.
should."
You just need to work together on your passion. Um, but yeah, so then the week after, so Nick and I had to move out of the place we were staying before because my parents are renovating their house. And so they are moving into the rental property that we were staying in. But luckily, my aunt and uncle have a condo, the town next door, and they live in Arizona for the winter and they come to the Cape in the summer. So we're staying in their condo for the next couple months, which is so nice. It's
Mhm.
so much bigger than our place. So we were like, this is delicious. But we had to like pack so much stuff. I gave so much stuff away. Some lucky soul that's shopping at the Goodwill in Hyannis, Massachusetts will be getting so much OG vintage T2NF merch. Like the amount of stuff that I have just hoarded. I'm like,
Yeah, no,
it's
same.
faded. It doesn't really fit me anymore. Like it's like I had so many like sweatshirts from when we first started, but
Mhm.
I'm like, I like my sweatshirts huge now. Like, I
Yeah.
like them so oversized, and I don't know what my deal was back then, but I was like, "What if I got smalls?" Like,
I know,
nobody wants a small
mental
sweatshirt anymore.
illness.
Like, why did I do that? So, I, like and I also was like, I literally own the store, like, I could rebuy this if
We
I
could just get
had a new
another one if
one
we
if
want,
I
yeah.
really decided that I want the OG Leclerc, university, like, varsity sweatshirt.
Mhm.
So I got rid of so much stuff, which was so nice. I'm horrible at throwing things
Same,
out. I am
same.
a hoarder to, like, the nth degree, and Nick really just kinda found it out. He was like, "Kate, what why? Why? Why do you have all this stuff? Like, what is this?" He's like, "I haven't seen you wear this ever." And I was like, "But what if I want it?" And he's like, "Throw it out." But I'm really bad because I also, like, I go through my closets every now and again, and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna, clean this out," and I get together, like, a whole bag of stuff to donate.
Yeah.
Um, that's where it ends, though. I don't
I
actually
know,
bring it anywhere to
I
donate.
have a bag sitting in this room that's just clothes that I cleaned in, like, September,
I'm pretty
and
sure
I
I
have
went through
not
all that stuff.
I you have not
Like,
brought it.
I'm like, I just am like, I just don't bring it to actually donate, and so I just have it and have just, like, bags and bags and bags of stuff that I'm like, "I haven't worn this in 4 years." Or even better and even more classic is that I have, like, bags of stuff that I'm like, "I'm gonna sell these
Mm.
because 'cause they're really nice." Like, I have a bunch of, like, dresses that are, like, White House Black Market, just, like, nice
Mhm.
stuff,
But stuff that
but
you're
I'm
not
it's
particularly
not me
wearing anymore,
anymore, and
yeah.
so I'm like, "I'll sell them I could make some money off of them." But I never do, and I just have to be I've made a Poshmark account probably 10 times. I've gone in and updated it. I've made a Depop account. I've made, like,
Yeah,
all of the different accounts that you could sell things, and I never do it because 'cause I'm like, realistically, I'm not gonna do this. So
I
I
know.
finally had to be like, "Kate, you're not gonna do this. Just get rid of them." So
Just
I
get rid of it.
finally went to Goodwill and dropped off, like, 7 bags of shit, and I was like, "I can't believe all of that stuff was in my house." Oh my god. So we've just thrown out, like, everything that we own, essentially, and then in between the madness, we went back to Quebec City for our
Mhm.
second annual trip to Quebec City for the New Year's time period. We actually went for New Year's this year, which is so fun, and my brother and his girlfriend came, which was, like, really fun because David and I have never done anything like
Just
that
the 2 of
together
you
without our
without your
parents.
parents,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
always, like, a family trip, which is really fun, but it felt very different in the fact that we were choosing to go on a
Mhm.
trip together, um, which was so fun and just really special. I love it up there. I love it up there so much. So, you'll come next year and we'll show you
My
all around.
god.
It
Finally,
was
get the
just, like,
in
so fun. There's something just very special and magical about that place. It just is
yeah.
a place where I feel like I can actually just, like, relax eating and walking around, and, like, I never feel guilty about just being like, "I'm gonna call it a night and go back to the hotel and lay in bed and read or watch a movie or watch TV
Yeah.
thing," which was just I needed it. And then got back, finished our move, and today is my first day of really not having anything to do, so I've just been, I don't know, living my life. I'm Kourtney Kardashian, my vibe is just living.
Just living life.
So that's where I'm at, but,
I
uh
really love this for you. I'm
yeah,
jealous.
I know. I was talking to our friend Lily Herman today, and we were talking about something, and I was like, I just, like, feel like I'm, like, floating in the void right now because I just am like, I don't wanna do anything, and I'm not doing anything, and I'm just like, I have no goals or ambitions right now, like, I'm just truthfully floating in the void. I'm, like, in purgatory. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
just I don't know. I feel like an amoeba just vibing. Um, However, I do wanna circle back because you said that you and Pam went to the movies a lot.
Mhm.
Nick and I have been going to the movies every Tuesday.
Yeah, you guys have really been
We're on a
on
movie
your
kick,
weekly
which
movie
is
journey.
big for me because the movie I do not traditionally like the movie theater.
I didn't know that actually.
You didn't? Oh, it's, like, one of
No.
my biggest,
I know you like to watch
anxiety
movies at
points.
home, so I didn't know that that
The
was
movie
okay.
theater is actually, like, a huge source of anxiety for me.
Mm,
I do not like to be in dark, crowded places where there are not very many exits and where I
fair.
cannot see people's faces. I have a lot of
America
trust issues.
trauma.
America trauma, but, like, even before the whole
All of it.
all of it happened, like, I just have never loved the idea of first of all, I'm afraid of the dark, so movie theaters are tough anyways. You don't see anyone's faces. People are sketchy, they're, like, going in and out. There's, like, janitors that will just, like, walk across, and I'm like, "Who are you
Mhm.
people, and what are you doing? Like, what are your plans here? What are your intentions in this movie theater right now? Because I don't really trust you, and I don't trust anything, and the only exits are at the front, fake.
Mhm. Yeah.
Hate it.
Yeah.
Especially when obviously the best seats are towards the back in the
Yeah.
middle.
Yeah.
That's not a good place to be if you need a quick exit. So, movie theaters are not my favorite place. I get like really, really anxious there. But we found a pretty good one on the Cape. I'm actually not going to say where it is because I don't want anyone to be able to go to it because now that you know that I'm afraid. Um, but it's a really nice one and no one's ever there
Yeah.
and it's really small. So I like have been trying like reacclimating myself into I'm
Exposure
facing my
therapy.
fears. I'm facing
You're
my fears.
exposure therapying yourself
Yeah.
and, like, we're facing our fears
Yeah.
this year.
I've decided that my word of the year is embracing
Okay.
or like
Love.
embrace. That
Mhm.
is my how I want to live my life, whether that's embracing your fears
Mhm.
and just being like, okay, this is what making me afraid right now. I'm going to embrace it and let myself feel it and like work through it. Or
Mhm.
embracing passions or things that make you happy and just embracing things to put action to it. And like,
Yeah.
I feel like I just really want to, instead of just being like, oh, I love this thing and I like, like consuming content about it or whatever, I want to like then do it and not just be
Mhm.
like, oh, I wish I could do that, but embrace it, embrace an interest of mine and do it.
I
So
think it's
that's
also,
like
like, embracing the uncomfortableness of, like, not necessarily being good at it right out of the gates,
horrible for
right?
me, yeah.
You and I hate that. So I think
Mhm.
it's and I've
Hate to
really
be bad at things.
enjoyed my watercolor journey because I am not good at it, but I
I
like the
think you really
freedom that
are.
oh, thank you. I I'm not award winning by any means stretch of the means, but I really love I just like the freedom that it gives me and like
Yeah,
I'm like who cares? I'm doing this for myself. I'm not doing it for anyone else.
exactly.
And so embracing that like I don't have to be good at anything right out of the
Mhm.
gates is very important for me this year as well.
I love that. I really do. Yeah, I've just been like, I get into rabbit holes of like
Mhm.
things that I'm interested in. And so I want not only just like enjoy other people doing it, but give it a try if I feel like
Yeah.
it's something that like I might enjoy. So like if I am like I mean, I went through a whole period of time where I was really into cookie decorating on Instagram and like
Who could
was
forget?
who could forget
Who
I
could
was
forget?
really into it.
Should you also
Um,
get into making slime maybe?
I never made it. See, that's the thing is like I have these things that I love to watch and like, consume. And so like I think that if I get another thing like that, I just am going to try it out. Like I'm going to
Yeah.
do something like that. And this is a little known fact for people listening. I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I was a ballerina for 15 years. So the first half of my life, I did dance 4 times a week, and it was a huge integral part of who I was growing up, and I've just found myself desperately missing it. I mean, I go to the Nutcracker every year. I just love ballet. I think it's so beautiful and so expressive. I love it, and I
Yeah.
have just been inundated with ballet content on social media, watching people and just being like, "Wow, I miss this so much." It was just so formative for me. And so I decided that instead of just watching it, I'm going to embrace that interest and that passion, that joy of mine, and I'm going to do something about it. And so I did sign up for an adult ballet class. I have
Love
not yet.
it.
I did register. They haven't gotten back to me and it's supposed to start tomorrow. So TBD on if
Okay,
I'll actually be
perfect.
doing it. However, I took the step and I ordered all this stuff for it and I'm like so excited and I'm like again so worried because I did dance for 15 years, but it's also been
15 years.
basically that amount of time since I've had any formal lesson. So I'm going to be rusty as hell, but who cares? I'm just going to like do it to have fun.
Why be upset
when you could
when you
just
can just have fun?
like, was sitting there and I was like, this gives me a lot of joy to watch, but it also makes
Mhm.
me, like, nostalgic and, like, kinda sad that I don't do this anymore, and I was
Right.
like, instead of just sitting in my nostalgia, I'm gonna just do it again, and,
Yeah.
like, why would I just, like, sit there and be like, "Oh, I miss this," or, "Oh, I wish I could do this," like, I'm gonna embrace it and just do it, so, like,
Yeah.
embracing is, I feel like, how I want to, like, live my life this year.
I love it.
Embracing opportunities, embracing fears, embracing traumas, embracing everything, and just, like, moving forward.
I think and that's a theme too for as obviously I have moved into my 30th year and you're coming up on your 30th birthday
Mhm,
as well. Really just kind of embracing this new decade of life and what that means for us and kind of who we have been the past 30 years and I'm kind of tired of pretending to be someone that I'm not or for the
mhm.
sake of other people. And so again, embracing myself and embracing like the things that I
Yeah.
like to do and like saying fuck it, I wasted too much time like trying to impress other people and things. And so I'm gonna do what I
Amen.
want to do now.
Amen, sis. Look at us. 2 girls coming into their own at 30 years old. It's
Watch
never
out,
too late.
world.
It's never too late to be yourself
Never.
or to
So
reinvent yourself, like, and I also feel like it's not always, "Oh, I'm learning to be myself." Everyone else that you've been, they're all different, just, like, versions of yourself, but we're
right.
allowed to evolve and grow and, again, embrace those past selves, but also embrace the, like, evolution that comes with just, like, getting older and growing up and learning and changing and, sometimes when I think we grow when we change.
I don't know if people ever really grow or change. I think we stay the same.
One thing about us that will stay the same is we will always bring it back. We'll always bring it back to Bridesmaids.
We're always quoting bridesmaids, matter of fact.
Um, what movies have you seen though? Sorry, we're just gonna keep
We're tying the threads
circular.
from everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, so in the past couple of weeks, I've seen Wonka.
I saw that.
I've seen Ballad of Snakes and Songbirds.
Mhm.
I've seen Iron Claw. I've seen Anyone But You, and I have recently seen a Bollywood movie called Doonky.
Mm.
And so I saw a bunch of movies in the past like month or so, and I love going to the movies. You don't like it, but I love it.
You know what? I'm getting there. I mean, I love the snacks. I love the vibe of just, like, having snacks and watching a movie always. And the movie theater that I found carries Bunch of Crunch, which I don't know if you
And you
know
do
this.
love.
I don't know if you know this, but I really thought that there was and I thought they were out of business
So did I.
because they're not at any movie theaters. I've been to movie theaters in the past few years and I've never found them. So I'm like, obviously, why would I come to the movie theater now?
Yeah.
I get anxiety and there's no Bunch of Crunch. What's the point? Um, but this place has Bunch of Crunch, and so I was like, okay, I'm sold. That's a
Perfect.
sign. A sign. What did you think of Wonka? I want to talk about the movies that we've both seen.
I really loved it. I had so much fun. Like it was so full of whimsy
Yeah.
and I just like left it feeling so joyful and I went in having zero
Yeah.
expectations about it. Like I don't even know if I really watched the trailer. I was just like I love Timothy Chalamet and
And I
I
love
know this
chocolate.
is exactly. And I know that this is going to be like a fun, cute movie to
Yeah.
see. I was like, I had heard like, I mean, Timmy's been nominated for a Golden Globe for his role. I think he might be Oscar nominated for it. And so like the buzz was really good. And I was like, all right, you know what? Everyone kind of made fun of him in the trailers and everyone was kind of like this goofy ass motherfucker, like Willy Wonka.
Like,
But
so classic.
I and I watched a lot of his press too, and he was just like, "I'm only making movies for kids from now on." Like, I had so much fun. Like, I loved seeing all of the children's reactions. Like, he just had so much fun, and I think It really just reminded me that, like, at his core, he is a theater kid.
Give me
Like,
theater
he is
kid.
a theater kid, and, like,
He wants to be silly and sing and dance. He wants to
he
do the whole
can
dog and pony show.
he can be dating Kylie Jenner, and he can be, like, the cool it guy, but, like, he's a
That's a
theater
theater
kid.
kid at heart. Yeah, like, there's no denying it. No, I thought it was really fun. I have never, like, loved Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Willy Wonka. Like, I liked the Gene Wilder one, that one is, like, fine.
Mhm.
Um, hated the Johnny Depp one. Oh my god,
Yeah.
hated it.
I don't think I've
So
seen it past the one time I watched it.
yeah, like, no. Um, but here's my, uh, constructive criticism on
Okay.
Wonka, is I thought it was really, really fun, and I mean, it's on its own, I really enjoyed it. However, I w thought it was all so just let me explain the whole thing before you react.
Okay.
I
I'm
felt like it
I'm
was all a bit
I'm sad.
much in the
Okay.
fact that, like, in the Gene Wilder, like, the o original one, everyone is, like, not normal per se, like, everyone has, like, kind of their quirks, but everyone is very kind of, like, bland. Like, everyone is, like,
Mhm.
generally a normal human. And the thing that is so magical about Willy Wonka himself is how eccentric he is and how, like, full of life and, like, how extraordinary
Yeah.
the chocolate factory is and he is in his imagination, whereas I felt like in Wonka, everyone was kind of over the top and this, like, caricature of these people, and
Mhm.
I felt like it almost took away a little bit of the magic of, like, who Willy Wonka would turn into, and I was like, I kind of wish that it was, like, this story of this kid that was
Yeah.
always just eccentric and a caricature and, like, larger than life, where I'm like, there's a person named Noodle, there's, like, it just felt like
Yeah.
everything was heightened, which, like, I get it, and I feel like we're in, like, a movie stage for, like of kids' movies where, like, everything is like that, and so, like,
Yeah.
it's like they kind of felt like they had to, but I wish personally, if I had directed this movie or been in charge, I would have had everyone, like, a little bit more dialed down and had him
Yeah.
just there so it, like, really you could see the
Yeah. Like, more so
character.
like Olivia Colman's characters, like, I feel like very drab, very kind of,
Yeah,
like,
it was like the other
mean-hearted.
chocolatiers, I was like, they
Yeah.
feel like Willy Wonka, like, they feel so
Just evil.
characteristic. Yeah, but,
Yeah.
like, are they evil? I don't know, they were so
Yeah.
weird. Did not
Yeah.
like. And then, like, I don't know, I think I was just like, I wanted everything to be a little less so that he would shine more as, like, this eccentric person, but
Yeah.
that's just my own
That's
personal
constructive
critique.
criticism, and I
Yeah,
think that that's pretty valid.
thank you. Um, we also have differing opinions on The Hunger Games,
Mhm.
where
No, I don't know.
generally the same, but I feel like there's, like, one sticking point for me that you just don't agree with.
I mean, overall, I probably won't be watching that movie again. Like, I just
Mhm.
didn't think it was that compelling. I didn't think the story was good. I don't think that the plot line was interesting, and I think that it was 3 hours and very little. We learned very little.
A lot
And
shorter.
so I was like, "Okay, fantastic." I just, like, even talking about it now, I'm like, "What were the points that I didn't even like?" Because it was so
I feel like
non-memorable
there
for
was, like
me.
it tried to do too much, but it also did too little.
Yeah. Like, I was like,
Too
"There are
much
so many
happened, but they
more
didn't, like, dig
interesting things."
into, like, the minute things that, like, made a difference.
Yeah. I was like, "There are so many more interesting things we could have looked at in terms of President Snow's youth
Mhm.
than whatever this is that we're learning about." Like,
Mhm.
it was fine. But you didn't like, Rachel Ziegler's acting.
Yeah. It was I understand the character of Lucy Gray. Here's the thing, is this is the sticking point between you and I, is, like, I understand the character and, like, what she serves, like, the purpose that her character serves in the story and, like, who she is as a character. I just did not like Rachel Ziegler specifically. Like,
It's
I felt like
fair.
she was again, I'm gonna use this word, I used it for Wonka, but, like, she was just like a caricature, like, I didn't like her
Mhm.
accent threw me, and I was like, "I get it, like, I get that she's probably supposed to have this accent, but like she was just like so much. She was, and this is like her background, but she was so musical theater about the whole thing.
Again, a theater kid.
I was like, oh my God. Like, I feel like I'm watching She's on Broadway and he's in a movie. And I'm like, it just like didn't
Yeah.
meld together. And I just felt like she was very like, I don't know, just too much where I was like, I get the character, but also like,
And my counterpoint
mm,
to Kate's reaction was that she was putting on the show. And that was the whole point, is that she was supposed to be like that. And you were supposed to feel that contrast between the two of them. But Kate still says, no,
it's
I
like,
don't
I get
accept
it.
it.
I think if another actor did it, like maybe I would like it more, but like, her as the
It's
character
fine.
really
I'm
bothered me.
not, I mean, like, she's not my favorite actress around. So it's like, I don't really care.
I just am like, it was just a little much. However, I think Tom Blythe did a great job. And I wish for his sake, we would have gotten more about his character and like more, because
Hmm.
I was also just like, oh, he's evil now. Like, I guess he was
Spoiler
the whole
alert.
time. However, like,
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happened here? Like, what happened here?
Again.
He was like,
Again.
I
It
love
was,
you. And then he was like, what if I hunted you in the woods? And I was like, what's going on? Like, there was just like no development of any of the actual like emotions. Like, I feel like
yeah.
it was, I don't, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And again, I don't know if that was the point, but
yeah.
it wasn't something that I cared for,
Mm-mm.
to be honest.
I also wish that we got more of Hunter Schafer and like
Hmm.
development into the Tigress character because she's so crucial to the story in Hunger Games. Like at the end,
Hmm.
like she's literally the person that like saves them and helps them to the end goal. And she's like, "Oh yeah, he's my cousin, but he doesn't love. He like thought I got too ugly for him." But like, there was literally no mention of any of that. Like she didn't like. I just wish we got like some
Yeah.
connecting because
Yeah.
yeah, we got. She was like, "I'm gonna be a
Fashion
designer," and
designer.
she like
Yeah.
does like basically makes his clothes into versions that look like designer clothes then so that he can fit in at this like school
Hmm.
that he goes to, which I get, but I was also like I just felt like there was like no other real like connection to the later stories. And
Yeah.
I almost wish that we had done something there had been more like at the end of like a here's what happened in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was fine.
I'll tell you, the best movie I watched was Iron Claw. I loved it so
We're
much.
going to that next week.
Prepare yourself. I cried very hard at the end, and I didn't stop crying for several hours.
Great.
So
Great.
settle in. It absolutely broke me. But in a
Awesome.
very good way. Like I have nonstop thinking about it since I saw it last Thursday. So
Okay, wow. Okay, I'm
yeah.
excited. Yeah, we last week, I think it was, we decided between Iron Claw and Ferrari and decided to go
Mm.
to Ferrari. The world's largest mistake. The movie was so bad. It was so bad. I'm like so
I know
upset
my mom
about
was like,
it.
"Oh, do you want to go see Ferrari?" And he said, "No, everyone's been saying it's awful." I was like,
It
"I'm
was
not spending my money on it."
like a personal affront to me. Like I'm like upset about how bad it was.
That's so disappointing because there was so much hype around that movie and like obviously Adam Driver, we love Adam Driver and
He
like
was good. Like
as
he
Ferrari
was
fans like I was excited about it, but I
mhm.
just think yeah, I haven't heard one positive review about this
I will
film.
say he was good. Good, not great. It was not his best role, but like he was fine in the role. Um Penelope Cruz was incredible.
Okay, good.
I hope she gets nominated for stuff cuz she was the saving grace of that movie. She was
What about
so
Shailene
good.
Woodley?
Ariana, what are you doing here? Like, let me tell you that after the movie, I had to Google. I was about to. I looked at Nick and I said, "Where was she supposed to be from?" Like, did he? So he met her during the war, and like they've had an affair since he met her in the war. But like, where was she from? Like, where was he stationed? And he's like, Italy, Kate. She's all of them are Italian. And I was like, that's the accent she was trying to do, was Italian. It was so bad. Nick was like, she was a worst part of the movie. Her Italian accent was, Nick was cringing. She was like not great. But it was like there were parts of the movie that were like done well. I mean, like the
Mhm.
acting was fine, and like this, it was just like there wasn't really a plot. And
Okay.
like I get that it's a biopic, but there's a way to do a biopic where you like, it just felt like there was no purpose to like the
Yeah.
time period that they selected, because there were
Mhm.
like several different conflicts happening. But I feel like they couldn't decide which conflict was the one they kind of really wanted to focus
Mm.
on. But there was also no lead up to be like, this is why this is a conflict. Like, there's this big race that they race in at the end, and it's like the big conclusion.
Mhm.
And then they like barely even talk about it after. And like it just like moves into this other thing. And then there's like his whole like affair, and like illegitimate son is like this big thing. And then like nothing is really talked about it. Like it's not like really totally, like it was just like, it was again, they tried to do too much, but also did not enough at all. There was just like all these plot points, but they dug into none of them. And
Great.
I was just
Which
like,
is
this is so
why
tough.
I'm so over these kind of like very serious, like wannabe Oscar nom movies because
Yeah.
it's like you're trying to do too much and you're not doing enough.
It's
Like I also watched
ugh.
Saltburn
Okay.
over and
I just feel like that is gonna pinpoint my anxiety. That just feels like a movie that I would not enjoy.
I don't know though because it's very much giving good for her. It's people on the internet are like, "Wow, that was the most unhinged movie I've ever seen." And then I watched it and I was expecting so much and then I was kind of like, "Okay." I think you
Hmm.
should watch it and give it a try. Like I don't think it was I for me, the worst part was some secondhand embarrassment. It was not
See,
like
that's what I hate.
anxiety inducing.
That's what induces my anxiety. I can't stand secondhand embarrassment. I can't stand when people make bad choices that I'm like, I'm cringing.
But the thing is it's not wasn't necessarily like bad choices. So like the thing is it's kind of looks at like classism.
Hmm.
And so it's like secondhand embarrassment from that standpoint. Um where sometimes he says things and everyone is just like, what the fuck are you saying? And so you're kind of like, fantastic. But it's not like overarching.
Hmm. Okay.
I thought it
Well,
was
I
fun.
mean, Carly was like, my birthday party theme is Saltburn
Saltburn.
formal. And I was
Yeah.
like, I haven't seen the movie. I don't know what this is. So
It's
I'll
just
just be going
really
in.
rich English countryside manner
I don't
in
have anything like that.
2006. In 2006.
I don't have
So
anything like that.
rich person aesthetic 2006 is what you're going for.
What, 3 popped collars? Should I just dress up as Paris Hilton? Don't be
Stop
poor.
being poor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So again,
We'll have to
that movie was
brainstorm.
really good, but it didn't try and do too much. Like the story was minimal. There were 5 characters, like you got to know them very well. Like it moved at a good enough pace and it kept me intrigued the entire time.
Yeah. You know what? Hollywood just needs to embrace not doing too much.
Long story short.
Long story short, don't do anything. Be like me and don't do anything.
Did you read any books while you were on break?
Well, I'm doing my ACT reread.
Okay.
So I'm still on Miss and Fury because like I just haven't really had time to sit down and read, and I drove
Mhm.
to Canada and back. So like
Yeah.
I Nick had like 8 hours each way to read. So he's already on Frost and Starlight. Like he's crushing it right now. Like
Yeah.
he is crushing it. But I'm still on Miss and Fury. But now that I have nothing to do, um, I'll be getting through those
Good.
ahead of our summit. Um,
Good.
yeah, it's just like so nice to read it again. And it's so nice being with Nick while he's reading for the first time. I'm like feeling the feels that I did when we read the first time. Like
Yeah.
it's just so fun.
Yeah. I
But
know.
yeah, that's it. All I've been reading.
I'm excited for him to finish Frost and Starlight so he can read my favorite ACOTAR book, Silver
Hmm.
Flames.
I
Eager
know.
for his
Oh my
opinions.
god. Him reading the end of Wings and Ruin. incredible. Like, the war portion,
Yeah.
incredible. It was so much fun. Every time he was like, "I think I know what's gonna happen," and it was like, it was so great. He's just like, "No, no, no!" Like, just all of the commentary has been
I'm
so good.
dead. It's been really fun to have him kind of FaceTime me
He's
every
locked
other day
in.
to
He's
keep
loving
me.
it too.
He's I know.
He's
I
really
know.
enjoying it, which makes me really happy.
I mean, we knew he would.
We knew we would. Everyone does.
It just takes a little bullying.
It does. People don't wanna hop on the bandwagon after so long, but I think it's having a resurgence right now because I've seen so many people on social media that I follow, that have
Yeah.
read it recently and are like, "Finally
Yeah.
read this," and I'm like, "Yeah, finally.
Finally, welcome to the club. We've only been
We've
asking for
only been
3 years.
begging you to read this."
Please. I'm halfway through Iron Flame right now. So,
Okay. Oh, Iron Flame, you were
mhm.
damn, okay. It got
Yep,
you,
I
huh?
finished Fourth Wing
It got
already.
you.
Yeah. It was
It
a
got
slow
you.
start and I was really fucking
It's
annoyed.
it's the beginning of any, like, fantasy book
I
though, dude.
know.
It's
I
always like
know.
that. We have this conversation with every single new series we start,
The
and we're like,
problem
"Ugh."
The thing is I still find myself being annoyed, but I think there were so many parts at the beginning that were so much more annoying as she was, like, building it, and
Yeah.
I still take issue with some of the parts of the world because I'm like, "You have mentioned this 0 times,
Yeah.
and now you're throwing it in here, and there
Mhm.
is no context."
I know.
So sometimes I just like read past bullshit. I'm like, I don't fucking know what that means, and I'm not gonna
Yeah.
pretend to. Like, I'm just cruising. Just give me the romance. I'm like, I'll just want to read about this. And then there's so many characters where I'm like, you just brought them up for what? Who
Yeah.
is this person?
Yeah, there
So
are a lot of characters.
like we don't need to have this many characters in the flight school, okay? Like I
Yeah.
don't have to know 15,000 people's names, okay?
Well, you
We don't
shouldn't
have
because
to do
half of them
this.
die. So don't learn anyone's names, that's the rule.
I'm just like, "Oh my god, okay, another one, another one."
I know.
And then there's so many of their, like, core squad too that I'm like, "Who?" I can't even keep them straight
I know.
sometimes.
There are a lot of people. However, I do, like, really enjoy, like, the story itself, and I felt like, um
I would love it as much as I think Akatar if I understood the world and the
yeah,
politics a little bit better. Like,
yeah,
I would be so invested. I would be like, "Yes." But I'm like, I don't understand the territories. I don't understand how long this war has been going on. I don't
yeah,
understand, like, why really they made this partnership with the dragons. I'm like, I don't like and the
yeah,
thing with me is we've talked about this before in say Blood and Ash, like Poppy doesn't is always asking questions because she doesn't know anything, right? And so like she's the narrator
yeah,
and she doesn't know anything. However, Violet has been trained as a scribe and lived in the archives for her entire life. I'm like, this bitch knows everything.
yeah,
She's constantly talking about facts. So like and again, I get that they're kind of like rewriting history, but like
yeah,
I should at least have an understanding of like the boundaries and kind of why
yeah,
things are happening. And that's kind of what's pissing me off is I'm like,
yeah,
I want to be invested and I want to care
I
so much
know.
about this, but like you're not giving me enough.
I know. I know, it is really hard. There's, like, just a lot, and I felt like I'm like, "You needed a glossary. You needed, like,
Yeah.
a some sort of, like, glossary of this book, like, a quick history lesson for all of us."
I would have loved like and that's why I think Sarah does really well. She really weaves
She
the
weaves it in so
politics
it's
of
not like
things like
yeah,
yeah, it's not, like, laid out for you. It's, like, it
right.
happens so naturally in conversations, and I think that's what's lacking in this book is, like,
I think she
it's
tried to make it so, like, obsession worthy, like, she tried to get the action going
yeah,
quickly, and, like,
yeah,
she tried to, like, have things start happening, which I appreciate because I also felt like like, the first half was kind of tough, but I also was like, more is happening in this first half of this book than, like, in a lot of the other series that I read.
I
Like,
know.
there's a lot going on, so I'm already kind of, like, locked in on, like, the storyline,
Yeah,
but there wasn't as a ton of world building where I'm like, "Okay, back up. Like,
Yeah.
how does this the number of times I had to flip back to the fucking screen with, like, how the wings and the, like, things are set up. I was like, "I don't understand. Fourth wing tail section claw?" I was
I
like, "I don't know
literally
where I'm at."
I'm struggling to
I'm like,
understand.
I don't know where I'm at. Where am I? Who is where?
I
Who's
was
ahead of I was
but I'm also
so
like, why is this important?
yeah, but
Why
I'm
is
like
this important?
yeah, and I'm like, "Is
I
it
don't care
though?"
so much about the formation of
Yeah.
this. I care more about like the roles and responsibilities of the government and like
Yeah.
how the lands are broken out and like
Yeah.
I'd love to learn a little bit more about the revolution. We don't really talk about the uprising at all. It just
Mm-mm.
kind of happened. And I'm like, can we maybe get a little oral history about like how it started, like, you know, what was really the fighting about, like anything.
Yeah.
Would love to hear more about that. So that's kind of where my beef lies at the moment. And that was always my beef too with fanfic writers on the internet is that they just jump right in. There's no lead up. You're just jumping right in. And I'm like, hello, can we get something
Background
going?
info, please.
Any background, any scene setting, please. So Rebecca Yaros, please. I'd love some context. I do like Violet. I do like Zayden. Like
Yeah.
I enjoy their
I, like, actually think that Violet is one of my favorite, like, female main characters in
okay.
books that we've read. I find her far less annoying than others, especially in the first book. The
100%.
second book, I'm like, "Oh my god." At some point, I'm like, "Stop fucking complaining. Just get
Go
over it. Just get over
Literally.
it."
I'm
Um,
literally like and again, I understand that it's a plot point. I know that it's we have to move the plot along and like she can't give us what we want right away, right?
yeah.
There has to be some sort of chasm between the two of them, but I'm like, "Oh my god."
But I'm
So
also like, "Okay, they're children." Like,
they're
I
not though.
get
They're
it.
21 and 24.
Let's think of where your brain was at that age.
I
The
guess, but it's not
choices
like
I
they're
made, not
13.
good. What?
It's not like Percy Jackson where they're 13 and
Yeah.
14.
But I'm like, if you I don't know. So I tried to, but however, at her core, I really like her as
I will,
because I
yeah, I
also think
don't,
that she is very much she is who she appears to be. And I feel like
yeah,
in some other books, they're like so in their head all the time, but like do opposite things than what like they're thinking and like are always
yeah.
kind of playing games. And I'm like, she's just doing what she does. And I appreciate that.
I do really appreciate it. I like that she's not so much like a pick me. I like that she's
Hmm.
not like, I appreciate that she's like, yeah, I understand that I have this weakness, but like, I'm gonna make the most
Hmm.
of it. And like, I think at some points it's nice for her to acknowledge that she's like, yeah, I have this kind of thing that's going against me, but like the people around me are here to support me and like that's so nice and
Yeah.
helpful. And so I there are a lot of redeeming qualities about her. And again, it's not so much about the characters, it's about the context that I have an issue with. So that's
uh,
where I'm at, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm cruising through it. I'm gonna crush
great.
it probably by the end of this weekend. So
Incredible.
I need something, and then I'll probably reread Crescent City before we go into the final weeks.
I know. I know. I really need to get down to business on ACTARCs. I want to
Yeah,
reread
we need
Crescent
to.
Cities too. Like, I want to reread Crescent
Yeah,
Cities.
I need to get back in. I need to start thinking about my summit
Hmm.
um TED talk.
For everyone listening, we obviously, we are number one Sarah J. Maas stands in this house. Um, so we are obviously so excited for the new Crescent City book coming out. So we have forced all of our friends who've read any of the Sarah J. Maas books to read all of them, every single series, and we are doing a summit where we are renting a house and we are going to this house for several days. We'll be doing keynote presentations. Um, one of our friends so far is going to be presenting on Jessica from Crescent City, who she is,
Hmm.
theories on her background, and who she might be. I will be doing, I forget what I said I was going to do.
I said that I was going to look at the SJM men and categorize them into boy bands and who they would be in their boy bands. But
I do.
I think I'm also going to do a keynote on Azriel and his background
Nice.
and who I think his parents are.
Love that. I am doing a fun one on what each Sarah J. Maas main character's night changes date would be.
Mm, love that.
So I think it'll be pretty fun. And then I want to do one that's a little more like conspiracy theory esque, but I
Yeah.
don't know what
Yeah.
yet. But I'm like, I'm so excited. I just am so excited. Like I have a schedule, like a programming schedule. Like every day it's going to start at like 3 p.m. Eastern. So that our West Coast friends, it's at noon,
Hmm.
and everyone will have an hour for their keynote, so we can like do a keynote and have a little discussion, and then we'll have a little break, and then we'll just have programming throughout the evening. I might find some fun TikToks, like TikToks, like have everyone
Hmm.
send a few so we can just like watch those for a couple hours.
Hmm.
Like we're having programming, like we're having a schedule. This will be an actual conference,
This is
and
a
I will be
conference.
keeping us on schedule.
Everyone's getting name tags.
But I do think it
We
would be
can't
really
wait.
fun for everyone gets like a court, and
Hmm.
we can add in like Crescent City, and we can add
Hmm.
in Terracin, and we can add in like
Hmm.
those places as like locations. And we basically just like divide them up for people, and everyone has to bring like a drink and like a food
A food.
based
I love
on
that.
like something, just so we can do like all little themes.
I love that.
Maybe we'll live stream some of our Tuesday. Nick was like, "How many days do we think it's going to take us to read the new Crescent City?" And I was like, "No, that's Tuesday. Wake up, read. Have a snack, read. Take a drink of water, read. Go to the bathroom, read." Like you're reading all day. We are staying until the routine is clean and the book is done. I won't be going to bed until I've finished it.
I'm so
These
excited, dude. I'm
eyes
so excited.
taped up until the book is done. Like I also did I made a schedule, like a reading schedule
I love
for him,
it.
because I was like, it would be really fun, because I was talking to Carly about like the program of events for the summit and
Hmm.
like how we'll schedule it. And I was like, it would be really fun if like at midnight on Monday, when like the book officially comes out, we all like download it, but we don't start reading. We like get together and we whiteboard theories, and like
Hmm.
we just like put down all of our thoughts about like our like guesses about what's going to
Yeah.
happen in the book.
Hmm.
And then we go to bed, and we wake up early, grab some coffee, and like all start reading at the same time. And then we
Yeah.
have like checkpoints throughout the day, like, okay, you should be done with like, and basically give ourselves like 75 pages an hour. So like after 2
Yeah.
hours, we meet for a half hour and like talk about what's happened, and we go back to reading for like 2 hours and whatever. And I did, if we read for 2 hours, then had a half hour little break check-in meeting, it would take us, if we started I think at 8 or 9:30 in the morning, it would take us until about 3:30 the next morning to finish the whole book.
I'm dead. I love it. I'm obsessed.
I
I
was
know it was
like, it'll
funny.
be good because we'll have, but I also was like, you have to read up until this page number. So if you read early, if you finish early, take a break. It's
Yeah.
like you finish, but you don't go past it, because we're gonna
Yeah.
meet about those, and you can't
We're
be
talking
past.
about it.
You can't go past because you can't give anything away. And if you finish early, great. You can take a shower. You can go in a hot tub if we have one. You can grab a snack. You can get other people snacks if they're still reading, but you do not go past the assigned numbers. So we are all on the same schedule.
It was so funny because I was talking to Kenny and I was like, he was like, oh, like, like, what if we did kind of like an upstate weekend, like at the end of January? And I was he's like, maybe like that went Tuesday, Wednesday, like we just, and I said, so sorry. Actually, I won't be reachable
You're
that
like, I
entire
actually will
week.
be upstate. I will be having an upstate trip, but
I
not with
said,
you.
so sorry. Actually, that's when my book is coming out. He's like, oh my God. And I said, you don't get it.
You don't get it. So sorry. I'll be upstate.
I was like,
You
yeah,
won't
I
be.
actually will be upstate already because I have a retreat. I
I
have a
have a
summit.
summit scheduled.
Well, also it was funny because he was like, well, what's worse? would you rather have me have been in an a cappella group or be into LARPing? And I said, well, it's really hard to say because I'm really into LARPing right now. And so, like, I was like, we're gonna be
Honestly,
LARPing
that.
at this. I was like, we're gonna be LARPing at the summit. Like, we're gonna be
We
cosplaying. I don't know
literally
what you.
are. Like, everyone has to come in costume.
And he's like, that's so embarrassing. And I was like, no, it's not.
Speaking of, I can't stop thinking of Come Come on the Kick Drum Kenny from the I like, can't stop.
Which is so funny. I was thinking about.
Come
I was
Come
thinking.
on the Kick Drum. Come Come on the Kick Drum Kenny.
I was thinking about how this our first episode back last year. I was like, hey guys, I just want to announce that I have a boyfriend. And then like 3 weeks later, I was like, hey guys, sorry, broke up. Anyway, we're back together.
New Year, new Nicole.
What can I say? Literally so funny.
Ugh.
That's me, babes. But yeah, it just literally. I was like, well, I'm into LARPing. I was like, also, Kate and Nick almost had a joint bachelorette party at the Renaissance Fair, and we were all going to have to come in costume.
So obviously, I would rather you have been into
I
LARPing.
obviously
100%.
would have loved you to be in LARPing, to be
I'm
honest.
honestly disappointed that you're not. It's honestly a letdown that you're not. It's a letdown that you're in an a cappella group, and it's a letdown that you're not into LARPing. So it's a lose-lose for you here. Any way you put it, you're losing in this conversation.
He's gonna be mad because he was like the other day he was like, oh, like I'll listen to the podcast because he hasn't listened to the podcast. And if he listens to the most recent one, it's just gonna be us being like, Kenny, you're a fucking loser because you don't like LARPing. He's gonna be like, okay, never listening again. That's fine.
I lose my number. Take my number out of your unique listener count.
Okay, wait. Hold on. Circling back to Percy Jackson. Are you watching?
Yeah, but I've only watched the first 2 episodes
Okay.
because I've been busy. But I think we're gonna watch the 3rd one
Well, there's
tonight.
two more
2
out
more.
now.
So the 3rd and 4th.
Yeah.
But I loved the first 2. I'm like so excited, and you know that David is like number 1 Percy Jackson stan,
Hardcore.
like
Yeah.
number 1. I was talking to someone today about it. Like, so Percy Jackson was essentially David's Harry Potter. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
like is what it was like the first series that he ever read by himself that he loved. He loves the author Rick Riordan. He made my mom take him to meet Rick Riordan in person once to like meet him and get his autograph. And he's read every single Rick Riordan book that's ever come out.
He's
One
just like us for
time,
real.
one time he went to Italy on like a school trip, and this is back when like you couldn't like call someone from a different country. It was like cost
Yeah.
a shit ton of money to call someone. Um, and David called Kira from Italy to tell her that he was looking at the boat from one of the Percy Jackson books. Like, he loves these, and he hated the movies, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Was so disappointed. So he has been skeptical, to say the least, about the show. Like, he was
Yeah.
like, I'm not excited about it. I don't trust it. I don't think it's gonna be good. Like, it looks like it'll be better than the movies at least, but like, I'm not getting my hopes up. Like, he takes these very seriously. And he loves it.
Oh,
So
thank God. Okay. I
huge
was like
seal of
waiting on
approval.
bated breath to hear what David's review of it was because I
He's
know,
really
and
liking it.
obviously attempted to read the first. I got like 3/4 of the way through over my unemployment
Mhm.
on the Cape this summer, and I think the hard part for me was that he is a 13-year-old boy or 12-year-old boy.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, I can't put myself in this 12-year-old boy's shoes. I was like, I'm 30. It's hard for
I'm
me
a
to like
30-year-old
be
woman.
here. But and especially with Logan Lerman, like obviously him and Alexandra Daddario were like low 20s when they made that movie.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see that an actual 14-year-old and like actual like 14, 15-year-olds are playing the characters
It's so
that they're supposed to
refreshing,
be.
and
Yeah.
Rick Riordan is, like, such a major part of that. He's, like, producer, like,
Yeah.
writer, like, he's doing all of it, so he's, like, very involved, and David is now rereading Percy Jackson again because he's like, "The last thing I really think of, like, the first thing I think about when I think of these m is now, like, the movies," which is annoying, so he is, like,
Mhm.
watching the show and reading the book at the same time, and he's like, they're going pretty much by the book. There's, like, a couple of things that they have to leave out because, like, they just can't do, like, they can't use the book as a script, basically.
Yeah.
Tough to do, wish they would. Um, but he's like, "They're going really by the book that I appreciate it." So,
Yeah.
I'm feeling
I'm
good
really
about it.
enjoying it.
As long as
Yeah.
David approves,
That's
that's
all I
good.
care about.
That's all I care about. I'm like, "Okay, so it must be really good." Like, I've read all
Yeah.
the books, but it's been a while, and he's just, like, number 1 fan, so
Yeah. The other show I'm, like, really into right now is, the Godzilla show on Apple TV.
It's a
You know, I'm a
show?
Yeah. It's called Monarch.
Is there there's a movie coming out, though, in, like, April, isn't there?
Yes, and
Okay.
so it's, like, because the last one ended where Kong and Godzilla went down into the center of the earth, and that's
Right.
basically where they, like, originate from, and so this
Yes.
is now, like, Kong has to, like, fight off the evil monkeys, I think, and Godzilla's gonna help him, so it's, like, kind of
Duh,
like
they're bros now.
a twofer, but the show is about, like, because in Godzilla, Monarch is like the government agency that like
Right.
tracks the Titans, and so this is kind of like how it became to be, and like contrasting like how it started and like where it is today, and kind of the family that's been the thread throughout. So
Got
very
it.
fun.
That's
But they
fun.
also just Godzilla minus one just came out in theaters, which is not from the same
Mm,
Godzilla movies that are out now. This was like a Japanese release that was completely separate to the recent ones, and
got it.
apparently it's one of the best films of the year. So I have to see it.
You really took it upon you took it as a personal attack that you did not know that there was a new Godzilla movie coming out, and so you took it upon yourself to know every piece of recent Godzilla
I
lore.
did. I did because someone you were the one who was like, "Isn't there a new one coming out?" I said, "I would know. I would certainly know," and I didn't. I didn't know. So now I
You were,
know.
like, so unlike me to not know this, and so you just came in with the fact you were like, "There's a show and a movie and another movie, and I'll tell you all about them." Because that was a personal affront to you that you didn't know.
Yeah, but I highly recommend watching it. It's really well done.
Okay, that sounds fun.
And
I have
yeah,
nothing else to do.
it's fun. So that's kind of what I'm keeping up with right now. And then if you also have time, I really loved Wheel of Time on Amazon
Mm,
Prime. It's 2 seasons right now and very fun fantasy.
okay. I think I'm a little fantasied out, like, I think I need to until Crescent City 3 is out, like, I think I need to keep my, like, fantasy brain
Okay.
in the Sarah J. Maas worlds.
It's fair.
Just I can't confuse them.
That's so fair.
You know how I get when I'm reading too many of the fantasy books at once. I start like overlapping plot lines and I'm like,
Yeah.
didn't this happen? And you're like, no, that was that other series. So I need to just like keep it focused. But that does sound fun. Maybe I'll do that
Add it to your watch
down
list.
the line. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't watched SVU in a while, so I think I need to get back into that. It's
Perfect.
been a bit. I took a break. Nick was saying it was depressing him too much. So I took a break and I like caught up on the Kardashians, and now I
Okay.
feel like it's my time, and I can
Yeah.
fill my time with however I want to. And if that is SVU, that's what I'm gonna do.
So true. You're so right.
Well, before we hang up, I guess we talked a little bit about our 2024 like vision for ourselves, which is
Mhm.
just like embracing things. But what else do you have any other resolutions or anything that you're like really hoping for yourself this year?
Yeah, I am saying no to more things. Like, I'm not trying to overextend myself. I think
Mhm.
I have a habit of saying yes to a lot of people because I love them so much. And
Mhm.
like last year, I felt like every single day of my week was like filled with activities.
Yeah.
And while I had a lot of fun, it was too much for me. So now I'm trying to be like very organized with my time scheduling, to be like, all right, I want things in the calendar. Like, I hate to be that person who like has to schedule things, but I want to be like, all right, I want us to have dinner plans that are really regular. Like, I want to be able to count on these times so that I can
Mhm.
have some freedom around to be able to
Yeah.
do things. So I think that's a number one priority for me. And then similar to yours is just kind of like embracing the fun side of life and like doing more hobbies, trying more fun things. And really just figuring out like what I like to do outside of work.
Yeah. I love that. Um, yeah, I'm similar. I don't have the problem with saying yes to too many things because I live on Cape Cod, so there's not really a lot to do. However, I do want to spend more weekends at home. I feel like my weeks are usually pretty nothing because no one lives
Mhm.
here, but my weekends are usually full of like trips or going to see people or doing things, and like I want to be conscious and cognizant of like being home and just like having a weekend where, because like for me now, I don't know, every day is a weekend, I guess. So it's like easy for me to like do my things, but like Nick only has the weekend. So like I want to be conscious, especially as like we just got married. Like we should like
Mhm.
be prioritizing doing stuff together and like using his free time to like not just go, 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 but like
Right.
do things together. So I'm trying to do that. Um yeah, I think just like being like intentional with my time and what I'm
Yeah.
doing and doing things that make me happy. And like if things aren't serving me or making me happy, then like figuring out a different way to spend my time or thing to
Yeah.
do or how to do that. And like obviously sometimes like you can't just not do the things that you don't like to do because sometimes
Right.
they're like necessary, but figuring out a way to make it more enjoyable or like a different way to do
Yeah.
what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Um I want to be like continue to be pretty consistent with working out. Not for aesthetics, but more for just like feeling good and
Mhm.
like finding things that I enjoy to do that are active. Um and I think be I want to like very much focus on the relationships I have. I think I also like sometimes I'm like I want to just like make all these new friends and I want to do all these new things, but I think I just want to like really not similar to you, not overextend myself in terms of how many people I talk to all the
Yeah.
time, but like the people that I do talk to all the time that are like some of my closest friends, like really nurture those relationships
Yeah.
because I also feel like sometimes because I do have such a wide network of people that I care about, I can never really give anyone 100% of myself because I'm like here and there and everywhere. And I feel like I want to be very like mindful of the people that
Yeah.
are in my life that I'm really close to and just like really foster those relationships and make
Yeah.
sure I'm like putting like the time and energy that they deserve into it.
Yeah.
So,
So
and
fair.
another goal of mine is to just once Liz has her baby, I just want to like be its mom. I just want to like go see her baby all the time. I feel like I've had a lot of friends in the past couple of years that have had kids and like I've only met them a couple times. Um
You want to
I'm
be
like,
involved in this one.
what?
You want to be involved in this one.
Yeah, I want
Well,
to be
to be
like,
fair, this is your best friend's baby. Those other
yeah,
people that you have had babies were not quite the same relationship that you
yeah.
and Liz have. So,
Yeah. But I wanna, like, make it a point to, like, go there and, like
yeah.
or, like, be like, "Hey, do you wanna go do this activity with the kid?" Or, like, "Can I go with you if you're, like, doing this thing?" And just kind of be there for it because
Yeah.
I just can't believe she's gonna be a mom,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Babies.
I know. I think one of my goals too is to I wanna get back to cooking. I feel like
I want you to get back to cooking too.
I took such a break and I'm just like I miss it. So I spent New Year's Day cooking a short rib ragu all day.
Mm,
Very lovely. So I'm trying to like
I
try new
love
recipes
that.
again and challenge myself in the kitchen because it's something that I enjoy.
Mm,
So
I love that for you. You're so good
yeah.
at it too.
Yeah, I miss it. I miss like feel like I'm out of practice. So
Well, you can take a night, at the summit.
at the summit and do some cooking. Okay, perfect.
You can cook for all of us. Maybe a
Perfect.
paella.
Ooh, could be fun. Oh, I
That could
miss
be
paella
fun.
nights.
I know. That's I'm like, it could be really fun. Like, find like do something that feeds a lot of people that you've been like wanting
Yeah,
to try or like do again,
yeah.
and we can do that. I'll sous chef.
Okay,
I'll be your
perfect.
sous. Behind.
Behind.
Yes, chef.
Heard, chef.
Thank you, chef. Anyways, this was fun. This was good. This was needed. Needed to
I
just
loved
check
it.
in.
I
We needed
know.
to check in and just like align ourselves. New year. Um, I don't think we're not coming back to like regular weekly podcasts yet. Like I think we're hoping to do well, not hoping. That's I also in 2024 want to use more strong language and not just say
Okay.
I'm hoping to do things. And if I say it, then I want to mean it. Nicole and I will be
Mm-hmm.
doing our Sarah J. Mass episodes
Yep.
prior to
The book
the
release.
book release. So we will be doing an episode on A Court of Thorns and
Agatha.
Roses and that
Mm-hmm.
whole series. We'll be doing an episode on Throne of Glass, that whole series, and an episode on the Crescent City series. And then we'll
Mm-hmm.
be doing an episode on Sarah J. Maas as a whole and her universe that is her brain. And we'll be doing that where we'll kind of, talk about everything. So if you've only read one of the series, you can listen to that episode. So there's no spoilers. If you haven't read one of them, then just don't listen to that episode because we'll do spoilers in those if you
Mm-hmm.
haven't read it. So you can kind of pick and choose, and no one has to kind of skip around to different segments of one episode, so you don't get anything spoiled for you. But
Right.
be fun. We're gonna hopefully have some guests on to share their thoughts and their theories. And then probably sometime in February, we'll come back with your regularly scheduled programming with potentially some
Once
hints of new things.
Yeah, once the car launches come back, like I feel like we're gonna start picking things up
Hmm.
in February, and we'll have all of the gossip for you.
Yeah. So until then, we'll see you on the
We'll
internet.
see you on the internet.
Bye.
Bye.